So today we're going to go with the basics of writing fiction, part 1, or what I wish I understood before I started this whole writing thing. In almost all good fiction, or in a lot of fiction, there's what you would call the hero's journey. This was popularized by Joseph Campbell, who I think was influenced by Carl Jung when he was considering his collective unconscious theory. Essentially, it's a theory of storytelling that was across all cultures throughout all time, kind of like a large monomyth. So there's certain stages through every journey, and the same stages seem to appear within all cultures in different times, which is very interesting, which is why Carl Jung wrote his Man and His Symbols, and Joseph Campbell was significantly influenced. That could be a reason why this storytelling is so effective, because it resonates with all of us through our unconscious and through myths from the past. There are 12 parts to this hero's journey, which is why I'm saying this is part 1 of this video. And because I usually don't go on that long, because apparently according to algorithms, no one has an attention span much longer than 3 minutes. So what was that? Now, as reference points to illustrate what I mean by these parts, I'll use Star Wars, because it's very contemporary and a lot of people know it, and Harry Potter as illustrations of the hero's journey in action in fiction. Part 1, the ordinary world. Now this is where the hero is in their safe environment. May not be the best environment, but it's safe. It can be idyllic, but it can be problematic. So you look at Luke, who was living on Tatooine. There's no danger around him. He had certain responsibilities he had to fill every day. It was boring, but he was safe, and the people that he loved were safe. Whereas Harry Potter, who lived under the cupboard under the stairs, not the best place, but for all intents and purposes, he was safe until, you know, he leaves that area or leaves the cupboard. Part 2 is a call to action, right? So it's when they come across some information where they're invited to either participate or they can refuse the call to action, right? And refusal of the call to action is actually part 3, I believe. I have notes over here. Anyway, so the call to action, like in Star Wars, would be when Luke taps on R2-D2 and Princess Leia asks for his help, right? And in Harry Potter, the call to action is essentially when he gets the letter to go to Hogwarts. Like, does he choose to stay where he knows the environment and he can predict the environment? Now, there's a lot of things pushing him away from that, but at the same time, he was given the option to either accept the call to action or not, right? And that was going to Hogwarts. So as I said, part 3 is the refusal to the call to action, right? So this is where the hero sometimes prevaricates, doesn't go off immediately, right? Where, you know, Luke runs into Obi-Wan and, you know, learns about all this information about the Force and at the beginning, right? But then he realizes he's going to leave his uncle and aunt behind, and he doesn't feel right doing that because, you know, they got farming to do, they're water harvesting, or whatever the odd thing they're doing is on the desert planet. And so he at this point he refuses, and he goes back to see what's going on, and he discovers that his aunt and uncle have been killed, right? Potter doesn't really refuse it. He's kind of looking forward to going to Hogwarts and, you know, learning more about his parents, right? So his refusal is not apparent, not immediately apparent anyways. For an in-depth explanation of the hero's journey, I would suggest getting The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell and reading it. It's very, very interesting, very compelling information. Part 4, we have meeting the mentor. So your hero is in this new environment, doesn't know what's going on. The call to action's been there. They've either refused or they've accepted it, and they meet someone that can instruct them on how to go forward with this adventure, right? So with Luke, we have Ben Kenobi, and we have Yoda, which is later on, but those are mentors that help him navigate this new world that he's stumbled upon, right? And with Harry Potter, it's Dumbledore, and who also helps him navigate his world and learn more about his parents and their past and what they were like as people. In the next section, I'll be talking about 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? So those parts will be next. depending on how much I have to explain them. But anyways, I hope this has been clear. If not, please, comment down below. It helps the algorithm. Give this a like. It also helps the algorithm, which, if you find this valuable, you can share it with other people.